Hello, everyone. We're so happy you're here with us. Greetings to old friends and welcome to new ones. My name is Alecia McClure, and my friend Phoebe Mulindi and I started African Girls Can almost 5 years ago now. One of the things I feel most passionate about in this life is that everyone deserves an education. Unfortunately, girls are on the losing end in many places around the world. Globally, there are more than 130 million girls out of school. This is a tremendous loss of potential for humanity. First, we'd like to thank you for supporting African Girls Can. By sending a Ugandan girl to secondary school, you are making a difference, not only in her life, but helping her improve her community. Our goal with this webinar is to allow you to see and hear directly from Uganda so that you can better understand the impact that small grassroots organizations like AGC can have. We're sure you'll enjoy meeting these special women joining us today from Uganda. Technology is an amazing and wonderful thing that brings us together. We have all been using Zoom a lot lately, and we hope that this session will be especially memorable for you. I personally feel very excited as I am also meeting some of them for the first time today. I traveled to Uganda 3 years ago and had the chance to meet Phoebe and our first 5 girls in the program. Since then, we have added a teacher liaison from St. Catherine School, Jenny Naya-Hobert, who so graciously gives us our time. And we are up to 16 girls that we have supported. 3 of these have already graduated. One is headed to university for a bachelor's in education to become a teacher, and 2 have been accepted to nursing school. 2 of the girls are here with us today. Vivian just completed her coursework for her last year of high school and will be sitting for her final exams in April and May of 2021. There was a bit of a delay due to COVID. And Monica will be starting her 4th year of secondary when schools reopen in 2021. You will see Vivian and Monica in the same screen together. Note that they've been staying together, so they are basically in the same bubble for the pandemic. Note that we'll have a question and answer period at the end of this 45-minute session. So if you have anything that you'd like to ask us, just type it into the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We've had some great questions submitted in advance, so we'll be starting with those. Also, we are recording this event so that we can share it with more people in the future. Only the presenters are visible on the screen, so don't worry if you're still in your pajamas. We wish we could also have sent you some of the wonderful coffee from East Africa, but we hope you are comfortable at home with a warm drink in your hand. So let's get started. When 2020 began, we had recruited 2 new year 1 girls, and we had 13 girls in school at St. Catherine in Lira, Uganda, which is in the northern part of the country, about a day's drive from the capital city of Kampala. Then the pandemic hit and everything changed. School closed, and we had to shift how we were supporting the girls. We even went on the radio. Many other organizations in Uganda and around the world have had to stop their work during the pandemic. But thanks to you, we're still here. I will now turn it over to Phoebe, Jenny, Vivian, and Monica to tell you about the situation with women, for women and girls in Uganda. Phoebe is going to explain to us about the landscape for women in society in general, and Jenny will provide a lot more information about COVID-19 and AGC's response. First, here's Phoebe.
Hello, I'm sending you warm hugs from Uganda. Receive them. I love you all and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Alecia. And we could not have done this without you as supporters. We thank you so very much for supporting African Girls Can. What does it mean for African girls or for an African girl who hasn't received an education? I happen to work for another organization called Street Business School that works with grassroots women. I have seen it with my own eyes, what the effects of lack of an education is, the way a lack of education has affected many women in Africa and in the rest of the world. Without an education in Uganda, it means a woman will not have a voice. Having your own voice, an independent voice, is very critical for you to be able to fight so many social injustices that we face in our communities here. Women without a voice means they will not speak up when they have arranged marriages made for them behind their backs. They'll marry off young girls. They'll get married when they are young and they will not be able. And when they go to this marriage, when they are young, it means that there will be multiple of them in this marriage and she'll have no voice. She'll not be able to have access to reproductive health, which also means that chances for her to die at childbirth are very high. In addition to that, even their children alone have very meager chances of reaching their 5th birthday. It also, the women will not know when to go and vaccinate their children, how to feed their children. They'll not have an income even to provide for their children because they don't have jobs. The women also have had this problem of domestic violence because she has no voice. She cannot speak up or even speak about it because culturally in our society here, we are seen as property for the man. So a woman who has not had an education, even if she's suffering with domestic violence, her husband beats her or takes away her little income, it means she cannot speak up. One, the society will laugh at her. She fears to come out. Then she doesn't even know where to go for help. So I believe giving a girl the right education at this age gives her that voice, gives her that opportunity to be able to speak up in future against these social injustices. So we are so grateful to you all, our supporters, for giving us this opportunity to be able to reach out to these girls in rural Uganda who would not otherwise have the opportunity to make a decent life, to have a decent life in the future. You might wonder, how do we identify these girls? We have 2 ways of identifying the girls. We have the direct recruitment, where we work with the districts. We work with students who have directly completed their primary education, and we choose the students who have performed best in their district. And we also compare their vulnerability and their financial status, if they can actually afford to go back to school, and if they have a family that can actually support them go back to school. And then the students who have done well will actually be supported by African Girls Can to go to school. We provide them with school fees and scholastic materials to enable them holistically stay in school. The other way of recruitment that we use is we partner with St. Katherine Girls School, is one of the best schools we have in northern Uganda, and whose administration really embraced African Girls Can and believes in the vision of educating vulnerable girls. They too support us identify girls from their own pool at school, girls who have had a challenge paying up school fees, but yet have showed academic strength and have been very, very smart. So the school will identify these girls and refer them to us. And that's how we've been able to have together, to have educated right now 16 girls. I know people have questions about COVID and how we are managing to support our girls here in Uganda. So I'm going to turn over to Madame Jennifer, who is our coordinator and teacher liaison supporter of the girls while they are in school, to actually tell you what African Girls Can has been doing and how we've been supporting the girls throughout this period. Madam Jenny, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. I'm so proud of you, Coach Phoebe. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. It's evening in Uganda. Thank you for supporting AGC. A lot has already been said by Alecia and Phoebe. We are so grateful to our partners and those who are also joining us. I am so proud of being a part of African Girls Can as a teacher liaison. And I have done this and I will still continue to do this for the sake of the girls. It is so fulfilling to see that we have an organization that aims at promoting girls' education, and especially at secondary level. In Africa, the girls face a lot of barrier to education due to poverty, due to cultural norms and beliefs, and because of this, some are even discriminated in their society. But because African Girls Can has worked towards empowering these girls through secondary education, I am so happy. I am one person who has always had a dream of promoting girl child education. And so partnering or working together with the African Girls Can has actually made me fulfill my dreams. But most importantly, is the fact that this opportunity that has been given to these girls has placed a smile on the faces of these girls. I can testify this. I have worked with these girls before this opportunity came into their lives, and I saw them. They were miserable, they were timid, they were lonely, they were isolated. But immediately they came, they got this opportunity to further their secondary education through African Girls Can. You literally see a change in the faces of these girls. The smiles come out. You see life. You literally see life in the lives of these girls. And with time, you see improvements in class performance. You see them build self-confidence. You see them rise up to take leadership positions as a result of being given this opportunity in school. We have a live example this evening. You will see Vivian, you will interact with Vivian. The smiles and the confidence, the expressions that she has right now, about 4 years ago, were not there. And so that means African Girls has gone a long way into bringing a smile on the faces of these girls. It became even a little more difficult for the girls and their families, especially during this COVID time, this COVID pandemic. And I must say that precisely in Uganda on the 20th of March, schools were closed down. Initially, it was a statement like the president is saying 1 month, and after 30 days, you will come back. But 30 days went by, 60 days, 90 days, there was no hope. And it became so difficult for the girls. And because of this closure of schools, the shutdown of the schools, we noticed that, that the support system that was being given by the teachers, the school administration, was cut off from the girls. And therefore, it left them vulnerable to so many issues like teenage pregnancies, early marriages, domestic violence, and that was not good for the healthy growth of the girl child. However, African Girls Can do not just sit back. African Girls Can recognized the need to go and follow up on these girls. And this was done through provision of some food items to support the families. 3, 4, 5 months down the road, it was not easy to feed, let's say, a family of 7, a family of 10, family of 15. Africans have very large families. And so the little food baskets, the food baskets that African Girls provided these families was a very, very good boost. And that was done actually twice after a period of about 2 months or so. African Girls did not stop at that. We provided the girls with scholastic, with non-food items. Non-food items like soap. Being the girls, they needed sanitary towels. They were given, they were distributed, and at least sanitary towels were enough for over 4, 5 months of use. Apart from that, provision of learning materials. Remember, the schools closed when we had hardly finished 2 months at school of the new academic year. And so that therefore meant that after 3, 4 months, a lot had been lost. And so African Girls came in to provide these scholars with learning materials that would keep them busy, that would keep them learning while they are still at school. And after provision of all these materials, we saw that that was not enough. The girls were so much surrounded by violent situations around them. You know, after staying home with parents, with elder brothers and sisters, and the stress factor was so much. And so they needed some life skills, something that would keep them, that would help them keep away from some of these vices. And so we went ahead and arranged for a radio talk show. And in this radio talk show, we were mainly dealing with life skills, something that provides you skills on how to tackle certain issues. And in this, it went out so well. And we did this after every fortnight for 6 different sessions. And from the responses we received, especially while we were still at radio, it was so great and impactful to the community. And not only to the girls, actually not only to our girls, it went out to the whole of the region, to the whole of Lira district, the girls, the boys, the parents at home. And we would receive feedback immediately after we gave time for call-ins. And all they would call in to say is to tell us, thank you so much. This program is so good, continue with it. And it worked and it helped the girls. And up to today, those who are still at home are still keeping safe and are still trying to keep and wait until when the schools open. For our candidates who are able to report back, I am also happy to report that all of them reported back and they were safe and were continuing until on the 18th when they broke up for the holiday. It was such a great thing. And I want to give this gratitude back to you, our partners who have always helped us, who have always supported African Girls Can. We are able to do this by your help. Thank you so much. Earlier on, I mentioned that Vivian is going to have an interaction with us. And I want to take this time to also allow Vivian to share her story. Vivian will be able to share her story with you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Alecia, Coach Phoebe, Madam Jennifer, all the participants in this webinar, our new partners, and African Girls Can as an organization in general for taking us and seeing value in girl child as a priority. And above all, turning the African myth about the girl child education as a liability. My name is Vivian Lira. I am 18 years old. I am in Form 6 at St. Katherine Secondary School. I live in Apache District, Northern Uganda. I live in a family of 8 children supported by a single mother. I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers. We are the third borns in the family. I know when I say we, you might get confused. I have a twin sister, that means we are 2. So we are the third borns in the family. We started our O level in St. Katherine Secondary School from senior 1 to senior 4. But for a long time, we have been facing challenges. For a long time, I've been facing challenges of school fees and scholastic materials. That in most cases, we are always in and out of school. This really discouraged me entirely because all seems not well. I did not see value. I lost hope of passing my O level. Everything was not going well as I expected. Since my mother could not support us really so well, and in and out of school was really not a pleasure to me. In most cases, I thought maybe even I'm just wasting time because teachers are teaching, I'm out, and anytime I come into school, I have to copy notes. It was so stressing. It was a stressing time for me, and I expected nothing out of O level. But all in all, we battle it with O level. My mother is a police officer by profession, so she has just too much responsibilities to support the whole family of 8. And besides this, he carried out some small business of brewing local alcohol, but all this couldn't yet support the family. When we sat for our O level, we were 3 candidates at home. So I opted for A level, but it couldn't be backed up by financial ability. So I had to stay home for 1 month when people had gone to school. All in all, I'd been crying for the 1 month that everything should turn to normal, but things couldn't work out. I stayed, my community was boring. I lacked friends, I lacked company. Every time you're going, you feel as if you're lonely. There's nothing you can do. You're being rejected. But things couldn't work out for me. I stayed the whole day crying. Most of my days I spent crying to go to school. But until an unforgettable day in my life came when my mother called me and told me, "Oh, Vivian, Madam Jennifer called and said you should go to school." I was surprised. Madam Jennifer had been seeing me all this, being worried, and she followed my footsteps only to realize I was really financially unable. Now she trusted me out and found out that I wasn't in school. When my mother told me this good news, I couldn't control tears. It was like tears of joy, not like in regrets of going back to school, but I was so happy to go back to school. And I felt really, God has really granted me my request, and heaven had come back on earth for me. Things really went on well, and after 4 days, I resumed to school. On resuming to school, I met Madam Jennifer. She encouraged me and told me, "Vivian, it's just time to work hard. I know things will go on well." I felt I had a mother in school. When I met with my fellow African girls, and the girls who were there, they really welcomed me, and I felt I had sisters. I felt I had another family in the school. So all in all, Madam Jennifer encouraged me, and we tried to sort out the issues of subjects. And really, I got interested in my subject combination, which was physics, economics, and mathematics. I got inspired by African girls and how they are encouraging girls to get up and stand their grounds in academic ground. For a girl child, once the nation says, if you educate a girl child, really you educate a nation. For a girl child will keep educating the rest, the children and everything. Then finally you have educated a nation. So Madam Jennifer inspired me and the entire African girls can, and I got inspired. I got the courage to stand up myself, to speak for myself. And right now I'm too much encouraged to further fight for our girl child. In the school, we have taken leadership positions, and mainly we have formed a club as girls being supported by different organizations. It's called Dreams. this club is to enable girls achieve their dreams. We really make some sanitary towels, reusable sanitary towels, to enable the girls not to drop out of school due to like not having those requirements. And we have teachers who really guide girls in this organization to enable them discuss their problems and try to solve out their problems. This is the step I've taken to fight for a girl child, and us being supported by African Girls Can, who has inspired me. I also want to become, in my dreams and in my career, I want to become an agricultural engineer. I've decided to choose this combination, this course, because in Uganda, as my economy is agricultural based, but people are facing challenges of drought, and this making our outputs low. So I decided maybe I'll be an agricultural engineer and create a change. For it's time to come with innovations and more of being creative to enable our country to move to the next level. So in this, I thought of, if I become an agricultural engineer, I'll base on irrigation farming, so that we don't too much depend on rain or on nature. We either carry out agriculture through irrigations to enable us get a reasonable output and to support ourselves, our families, and majorly a girl child education. Family full of girls can be supported through farming. For our women in Africa, they're really hardworking. And I believe through this and through this passion they have, I will be able to achieve my dream. And I know with everything and every passion and every courage that African Girls Can has given me today and for the rest of my life, I shall not let them down. I shall do my best and to, in future, encourage my fellow girls to do their best to supporting them in any way I can. I really want to thank African Girls Can for their support in my life that has too much created pride in me and really a smile in my life and my entire family. I also want to welcome my dear friend Monica, who also asked to share our stories with us about our African Girls Can has really changed our lives today and maybe in the next time to come. Monica, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, my friend Vivian. Thank you very much, Alecia, Phoebe, Madam Jennifer, and my friend Vivian. I'm known by the name Akwang Monica Judith. I am 16 years old. I am in St. Katherine Secondary School. I am in senior 3. I would love to share my brief stories with you. Everyone who is listening to us tonight, I would love to share my stories with you. I am born in a family of 4, and I'm the last born. You know, as being the last person now in a family, it is not easy. We have both our parents, but my father has some medical problems. That is to say, his hands are all paralyzed. He cannot even hold like heavy things. He cannot even hold a hoe. So we really need to struggle with my brothers and my sisters who are at home to get money, so that the little money that we get, we can, some little money that we get, we like divide them. Others we use them for our own consumption. Others we use them to go back to school, maybe to buy some other little things. Fees will also be included in it. And others, the little ones still that we have, we again need to pick apart at least to pay the bill of our father in the hospital, because he has that complicated problem that we have even been trying everywhere, trying every hospitals around. We tried, but we couldn't get even the problem, and they didn't even told us that the problem is here, what and what. We always just get no results, but we don't know what is wrong with it. So, as being in a family where you're only supported with one person, and that is our mother. But of course, we have our father, and indeed, he cannot do anything. So we really need to struggle with our mother to get that money so that we can use it to do some other things. And we also use that same money to go to school. As being the last born in the family, then I need to first wait when my brothers and my sisters ahead of me, they have gone, so that they can now take me as the last person. And I go to school very late. I always go to school very late, if not like 1 week after 1 week after, even some other times 2 weeks. So I had that problem of financial, but we couldn't make it since we always just grow our crops. We need to do with the same little money that we are getting. We need to pay bills. We need to do everything with it. So the same money, we can't pay with fees. Everyone wants to go to school. And you know, in a family always where people don't have money, there are many children wants to go to school and they all want to at least reach some level. So we tried with our mother. Her mother could struggle with me when I sat my primary living examination. My mother had to struggle and took me to St. Catherine Secondary School. But there, at least she tried, but she couldn't make it all that it is better for her daughter to be in school. Because always I'm outside the school because of that fees. They will be sending me outside. I come back, I maybe stay like for some 2 weeks again. I go back home again, I stay another 1 week, and then again I come back, and it became so hard for me. It really became so hard for me. But when I had a message, because Madam Jennifer is my teacher, she has always been convincing me, encouraging me. So she always go to class and she always asks me, Monica, your name is always every day in fees defaulters list. Why? She had to call me in her office and I explained everything to her. She told me, she was asking me, what kind of problems are you facing home? I told her, Madam, I have a father, I have a mother, but you know that problem, my father doesn't do anything. He's just there at home like that. He has nothing to do because of that medical problem. But I have a mother who always struggles with hers. We dig, we grow our crops, we take them to the market, we always sell them. We don't even now get time. So Madam Jennifer told me, Monica, you are now among the lucky students who are going to be sponsored by African Girls Camp. For real, I couldn't believe my ears. I just couldn't believe my ears because it was a shocking news. I didn't know that opportunity could come to a girl like me, who is from a very poor background, who does not even have anything, struggles with her own hands to do everything, but God made it for me. When Madam Jennifer called me and explained everything, I said, Madam, I don't know just how to appreciate you and thank you with the organization, Alecia, Madam Phoebe. Madam Jennifer could always encourage me, convince me, tell me each and everything that happens in her life. Also, she could also explain her experience that she got when she was still not yet like the way she is now. So I had to have that courage. I had to say, though comes what, comes sunshine, comes rainfall, at least I need to struggle for my future. Since God has provided this opportunity to me, I need to struggle and I need to make it as I'd wanted before. And that's the reason why I prefer Madam Jennifer to be as my role model. Because the way she could encourage me, she could inspire me with her words, she could tell me all her experiences that she also passed through. So that's why I just feel like she's my role model. That's why I always admire to be like her. You know, I'm going to explain what my dreams are. You know, as a student, at least you need to have that dream. You really need to have that goal that you're focusing, that what you're reading, you should achieve in future. So me as Monica, my dream is to become a medical doctor. And I have genuine reasons why I've said so. For example, you see, like my father who has this medical problem, at least we have tried very, very many hospitals, very many people with different knowledges. We have tried, but I know, as per me, they have said it is a condition that has no cure. we always go to other hospitals, they are saying nothing is wrong, but the hands are already paralyzed. So I would love it that if I achieve my dreams, I can at least struggle, though I can't get the cure, but I can at least struggle with all my level best. Not only that, many people are suffering outside. Maybe they will also be with complicated problems like my father. I can help them. Not only that, many people have different problems there. There are some other problems that you can't solve them by maybe giving someone a drug or a medicine or a what. But when you counsel someone in fact just feels so better and so well. That's why my dream is to become a doctor. And I'm praying that if God can help me and make me achieve my dreams, I will never forget the opportunity that have been given by African Girls Can. I couldn't believe it was me. I couldn't believe I was the one, but really, African Girls Can made it for me. I would also love to appreciate Alecia, Phoebe, for having supported us during this corona. We had no hope. In fact, some of us would not even now be, some of us would not even die of corona, but would have died of hunger because we didn't had anything like to eat. Anything to eat we didn't had, but the African Girls Can provided everything for us. They could make sure all our lives is better like others outside also. So I would love to appreciate Alecia, Phoebe, and the whole organization. Madam Jennifer, thank you for encouraging me. You still remains my role model. Comes what? I would love to say thank you very much, and I would love to take you back to Alecia.
Thank you so much, Monica and Vivian. I can't tell you how proud it makes me feel to hear you speak on this webinar and tell your stories. We are watching the clock a little bit. I think it's okay for us to go to 1 hour because people are so interested. If you have somewhere you have to be, we understand. But we're going to go into a question and answer period now. And we did have a question come in, and I just want to clarify about the educational system in Uganda, which is actually the same in much of Africa, East Africa in particular. So there are 7 years of primary school, and that is followed by potentially 6 years of secondary school. The first 4 years are referred to as ordinary level, or O level. You heard Vivian say O level. And then the last 2 are advanced level, or A level. And you can basically view this as a big funnel where most children do start primary school, but then at the end of that 7 years, fewer advance to secondary school, especially if you're a girl. And then even fewer, very much fewer. At St. Katherine School, there are 1,000 girls at that school. And in all of A level, I think there are maybe 150 girls. So you can see how the opportunity for education, because they have to pay fees, goes down. So thank you to everyone again for being here this morning, and to Phoebe, Jenny, Vivian, and Monica. So let's spend the rest of our time with some Q&A, and we're going to start with the ones that came in. Community radio is one of the most effective means of getting the word out in developing countries, which is why we decided to have a radio program. And Jenny started to talk about that a bit. And I was wondering if she could just take a minute or two to tell us what topics were discussed on the radio and who participated in that program. Jenny, you can unmute yourself, Jenny. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wow, the radio program was amazing. It was very, very amazing. We had 6 talk shows running after every 2 weeks. And in these talk shows, it was organized in such a way that Every time we are going in for one, we have either 1 or 2 girls taking part or participating. So all the 13 girls that are at school being supported by African Girls Can were able to take part, and different topics were discussed. We looked at topics like life challenges and resilience. During this COVID time, we needed it. The girls needed it really, really. We looked at topics like building self-esteem, and here we are talking about high self-esteem. Now, some of these challenges that I talked about earlier on, the teenage pregnancies and early marriages, if you are a person of low self-esteem, you can easily be lured. So we talked about this, and they were able to really pick out on what to do. If your father came and said, Monica, you're getting married and you are going with this man, can you be able to stand up, speak to your father and tell him that this is not the right thing, this is not what I want? We included topics like speaking up for yourself, which is closely connected to self-esteem. We talked about staying true to yourself was a topic of its own. We looked at role models. These girls at this time needed to know that a role model in the life of a girl child is very, very important. And we are looking at positive role models. And so if you are able to identify that this is my role model, that means you are looking at those achievements, those successes that have been achieved by this particular person. And so you are able to you can find out how did you do it, how did you go about it. So we found this very, very important. And like I said earlier on, the results were so amazing. We would get feedback through phone calls to the radios, thanking the organization and actually even asking us to continue more and more. And it benefited not only the girl child, it was the boys, the mothers, the fathers, generally all. And I would get phone calls from fathers, from mothers, yes, that is what we want for these children. It was so great. The radio program was great and it benefited the girls. And I must say, out of this, our girls have stayed not married. They have, the 4 that are in candidate classes came back, and we usually do follow up. We talk to them on phone, and all of them are safe. However, of course, we get other girls getting pregnant. During this COVID time, the number was so much, and it was really worrying. But I'm happy to say, particularly our African Girls Can, we are not part of this worrying number. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for sponsoring this radio program. We are grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for the explanation. And we are so grateful that we had the funds that we could use to buy the radio airtime. And the radio programs really were a silver lining of the pandemic, for sure. So we are going to go on and ask another question. This will be for Phoebe. When we recruit girls for the program, it often involves traveling way out into the countryside. I've been there to connect with them in remote villages. Phoebe, you had one memorable experience with a student several years ago, and that is Ketty. Can you tell us the story of finding Ketty?
Thank you so much, Alecia. We've recruited many girls, and each time it's usually at the beginning of the year. It's very exciting because it means we're going to drive for 8 hours at least to the districts way up in Otuke, and then the following morning by 6 o'clock at the dawn, you come out and hear the birds, and you just know, okay, this is my last fresh air I'm getting. The next one is going to be heat, a lot of sunshine. But the day I met Katie, I set off at around 8 o'clock with Lakana. Lakana is my trusted boarder, and he volunteers a lot to support me during recruitment. So we usually have to first identify the school where these girls have sat from, because when you get to the school, then the school, someone around the school will give you direction to the girls' place. So I rode behind Lakana's border for 3 hours to find Katie's school, and another 20 minutes to find her home. But again, when I got home, she wasn't there. She had gone to attend a village meeting. And you know, when girls go for village meetings, these are usually some sort of social gatherings. Your heart skips a little bit, because we usually identify those girls who have financially constrained. And it means I will not go and find the girls immediately after immediately when the results come out, giving an opportunity for parents who are able to sponsor their children through secondary school to like move them to secondary to the schools. And so usually you go when the girls who have no hope and have stayed home during that time, you'll definitely find them around. So Katie had gone for a social gathering. There's a meeting in the village, and my heart skipped because the social gatherings are not very good for teenagers. And when I reached the meeting point, I asked the lady who welcomed me. She was cooking food. I said, "What's the meeting for? Is it to marry off this young girl? Please tell, I need to see Katie." I was a bit agitated at that point. But when I went to the meeting, I was kind of glad to announce Katie's scholarship in front of a big village meeting, because Katie had not gone back to school for 2 years. Since she had sat the year before and had passed, she had scored highly, but didn't have an opportunity to go to secondary school. So in order for her not to get married off, her trick was to resit her P7. And P7 here is the primary. We have universal primary education in Uganda, which is ideally free education. But secondary education, the universal secondary education is kind of scanty. You cannot actually easily get it. So for Katie not to get married off, she kept reciting her P7. And she joined senior 1 when she was 17 years old, which means she was already much, much older. Katie has a dream. I can't wait to see Katie in 2-3 years. Maybe she will have become a nurse, as she has told me. I cannot wait to see what Katie turns out to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you. I'll never forget that story. And I'll never forget when you called me to tell me about Katie, the excitement in your voice. So let's move back to the girls. And because people really are so interested in their lives, especially sort of their life outside of school. So Vivian, could you tell us a little bit what your life would be like if you were not part of African Girls Can, if you had not had a chance to pursue your advanced level at St. Catherine?
Thank you so much, Alecia. Really, when African Girls Can came in to help me, it was like I'd lost hope and trying to see what other thing that can be done. But by then it was more of agriculture, that's to say farming still going on. But the next option which was between me and my mother. Since they were recruiting people for FOSS, she was like, I think you have to fit here in case the next time it does not go well. So I would be going in for FOSS, of which wasn't my dream. My dream has always been to reach a level and achieve my dreams and achieve my career. of being an agricultural engineer and help my community. That's where I would be right now if at all African Girls had not come to my rescue. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica, it seems that people here are so interested to learn more about the girls' lives outside of academics. So can you tell us what your favorite part of school is other than the classes? And what do you like to do outside of school? And do girls get to play sports through school or in their community?
Thank you very much, Alecia. Once again, I greet all of you in Jesus' name. I'm going to share with you my favorite parts of the school. Maybe when I'm outside or I'm inside, I'm going to share with you. When I'm inside the school, my favorite part is class. I always need to read and read. I always bear to read and read. I always fix myself at least to be in class before a teacher comes. So that made me always to also love some other subjects where I can get their teachers. They teach us very well. They explain everything, and I do understand everything in advance. I also love those teachers where when I ask questions, they can give me the answers and they explain everything to me. That's why my best teacher is my biology teacher, Mr. Oscar. I really love him because he always explains everything to me. And I always understand everything as long as he's inside my class. And I'm also going to share with you some bits when I'm outside the class. My favorite part of the school when I'm outside the class is the pitch. I really love to play after class. I always go to play because I do play volleyball and netball. I always love it when I'm jumping in the pitch. So that when I'm done with pitch, I can go to class, I can be very settled, I can do things, my mind will really be fresh. So that's why I love pitch so much. I really love playing. I always play volleyball and netball. I really love it so much when I'm not inside the class. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I need you to send me a picture or video of yourself out there playing. So we've had a couple questions come in. Let me clarify, first of all, that yes, the schools are still closed and girls are still at home. The exception was they brought back what they call the candidate classes. So at the end of ordinary level and at the end of A level, you take massive national exams. And the scores on those exams really make or break for you, whether you can proceed on to A level or even have a chance at a university scholarship. So they were able to reopen schools just for those two classes so that they could try to get back on track with those exams. But the school was worried because they didn't really feel fully prepared to have the girls be there safely. So we helped out. We gave some face masks and sanitizer, and also just a huge, there was a picture in the slideshow of a huge like hand washing station that is at the school too. So another question that has come in has to do with parent engagement. Because it's, sending girls to school is really a team effort. The girl needs to be motivated to want to be there. Her parents have to understand the value of sending her there versus marrying her off. Teachers, supporters of small organizations like ours, it's a big effort. So I'm wondering about maybe bringing either Phoebe or Jenny back to talk about the meeting that we have had, meetings a couple of times now, with the girls' parents. There was one that was at the end of an empowerment camp that we did. How about Phoebe on this one? to talk about parent engagement a little bit.
So we usually, before we take on a girl, we identify if we have somebody at home who will accept to take the responsibility of a guardian or a parent. And it could be a mother, could be an uncle, an elder sister, anyone in this person, in this child's life who is willing to take on that responsibility, because to educate a child is like a triangle. You can't say it is only school fees or it is only the school. There must be somebody very, very strong that provides support at home. Even if they do not have the finances, but at least this person should be there in this girl's life to encourage her, to visit her at school. Sometimes the students face medical issues, and as an organization with limited resources, we cannot do all this. But we've also I've spent, I think, 15 years in girl education programs, and I know that it cannot work with just the school and an organization that sends money. There must be someone at home. So before we take on the girls, we sign a contract with the parents, for that the parents actually agree, or guardian agrees to be there for this girl, to provide moral support, to visit them at school, to check their academics, to counsel them, and to give them, to agree to give the girls time for education. This parent must appreciate the value of educating this girl before we take on the girl. So we sign a contract with a student, but also sign a contract with the parents to support the girl morally, give them that time, especially that time to defend the girl against the injustices. You know, if a clan head wants to marry off this girl, this person should be able to stand and say, no, not this one at least. So we always have that the parent sign a commitment to support the girl for 4 years while the girl is with us, or for 2 years. And during that time of the 4 years, there's a change of mindset for these parents. This is not a story concerning African girls can, but it's a story from way back. There's a young girl who my mother, who I think is on the call, Mama Caro, wanted to sponsor from when she was very, very young. And her father said, no, you want to pay school fees for the young girl? This girl is going to get married. She will be property of the new family she gets married to. No, sponsor my son. You know, literally told the sponsor in the face that, no, sponsor my son, don't sponsor my daughter. And lucky I was available, and I just said, no, we are going to sponsor that girl. And at that time, we started sponsoring this young girl, Molly, through me. And with the several conversations I had with Molly's father, he changed his mindset. On the day when Molly graduated as a nurse, he was the most proud father and does not regret why we sponsored Molly. So I have seen that it happened with Molly, but even in this program, we've seen how parents and guardians have changed their mindset to become advocates of girl child. And we have annual girl camp programs where we invite all the girls for a 2 to 3 day workshop on life skills. And on the last day of the workshop, we usually invite the guardians to come for the meeting, for them to recommit, to hear from the girls, to hear from us, and hear from the school administration, and to get their recommitment to supporting the girl stay in school. And also what happens usually is when you sponsor out one girl in a family and leave out the rest, usually this child is like, you know, you belong to the other organization. There's another form of discrimination that actually happens. So there's a high chance of being left out morally and financially and other benefits for a child in a home just because this child is being sponsored by another organization. So it is important for these people, for the parents, to remain committed and remain appreciate the opportunity of a scholarship program. So that's why we sign a contract with them. That's why we invite them for annual meetings.
Thanks, Phoebe. So we are going to wrap it up. It's hard. I don't want to say goodbye. I could listen to them talk forever. But I'd like to just finish on one last question, if that's okay. And I'd like to give Vivian the last word. So if we could bring back Vivian, and my question for her, and she can speak for all the girls, I think, is what are your dreams for women in Uganda in the future?
For women in Uganda in the future, with the empowerment that African Girls has given me through enabling me to stand my ground, to speak for myself, I'm really working hard to achieve every possible opportunity that can make me stand my ground and also stand for the women in Uganda through advocating for girl child education. For in Uganda, once uneducated, really, the voice of an educated girl is really hard, really in Uganda. Because nowadays in Uganda, like in the general Africa, really Africa as a general, once a girl is educated, she's seen as a valuable asset. But when she is not educated, she's just seen at the grassroots. So with the education African Girls is giving me and empowering me so that I can achieve more and more in being an educated girl, I hope to speak for myself, to speak for my nation, and speak for female, really a girl child education entirely, and enable them, the parents, to always see girl child education as something important, not only to value boys as African tradition says, and to see that women can do something. They can even be better than boys, thoroughly advocating for them, and quite really, I can even join African Girls Can in the next future to enable sponsor more girls in this organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. And I think something you told me yesterday that stuck with me is when you educate a girl, you educate a nation. Those were your words also. So we've come to the end of our first webinar, and this has been a wonderful hour. If we did not get to your question, we're going to create a new FAQ page on the website and send that out. If you have any other questions or comments for us, please drop us a line at hello@africangirlscan.org. And if you're not already, please follow us on Instagram because we're having a lot of fun with it. We're posting a lot of interesting things. We've got our little stickers now. We can't wait to see where our stickers end up going around the world. If you'd like to send us a message in the chat on the bottom of the Zoom screen, we will see that as well. So just to reiterate what we said at the beginning, so far we've been able to support 16 girls. 3 of them have already graduated and are headed to university or nursing school. We're very proud of this, but with the support of our friends like you, we can send more girls to school. So thank you so much for being here. We can feel your love and support coming from all directions, and that means a lot to all of us. We wish you the best for 2021, and I think we will say goodbye. I'm going to bring here's Phoebe. And sadly, I think Jenny's video connection was lost in her house. The girls are still there, but thankfully we were able to hear Jenny really, really well. So, oh, there's Ben. There's Phoebe's husband, Ben. So thank you,
Hi,
everybody.
Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Have a great Saturday and holiday, everybody.